All right, guys, welcome back. We've got a special guest on the podcast for this last little segment. He's a good friend of mine. He's Ralph is his name. He's a Manchester United supporter. Ralph, do you want to say hi to the listeners?
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Good to have you, mate. It's good to have you. Tell us a little bit of a background about yourself. Obviously, I know, but for Taylor's point of view and the listeners, what's your sort of how did you sort of come into supporting United?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. I'll try not to bore you too much, but yeah, I was born in Spain, so not far from the Real Madrid stadium, believe it or not. My father used to take me to see Real Madrid quite regularly on every second game when they were playing at home. And we're going back to the old days of big players like Busquets and Di Stefano and all that. I don't know if you guys, you're probably too young to remember them, but so that's what my background is, from Spain. So when I actually went to England, which was when I was about 12 years of age, the only team I seemed to know in England was Manchester United, due to the fact that that's what you used to hear in Spain. And on top of that, the fact that the Munich air crash that took the lives of a lot of the Manchester United players, and because it was news. And due to that, that sort of team was stuck in my mind. So when I actually went to England, they're the only ones that I really knew. So I started following them from them. There was no other reason behind it. And so when I started following United, in those days, it was the days of Dennis Law and George Best and Bobby Charlton, but that's how it all came about. And I always loved United for those reasons. And obviously with that, you get the history of United. It's always been great. I basically went bonkers when they actually won the treble. I was actually living here in Australia when they won the treble, and I got up in the middle of the night to watch the game, and crikey, you should have seen me go. When they scored those 2 goals in the last 5 minutes, that was just unreal. But anyway, apart from that, it just saddens me that to see a club like Manchester United, they've always been high up in world football. They probably still are, but only by name, as far as I'm concerned. I think that we are far, or a long way behind where we want to be to match other teams like Liverpool and Man City, Chelsea, including even Arsenal at the moment. And it just saddens me to see the team fall apart like they're falling apart. When I saw Ronaldo come in this year, and we had Varane and we took Sancho, I thought this could be the year. We just seem to go backwards.
Yeah, that was where I kind of wanted to lead this, because I mean, obviously you've seen legends of the club come and go. You've been around through all of their glory days, and all the Premier League titles that they've won, and this, that, and the other. This is kind of unfamiliar territory, we can say, for Manchester United supporters to be in the sort of position that the club is in at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about we had Alex Ferguson there, and I think that was the reason behind the fact that we were successful. The fact that the Glazers were still running it then, I think they came in while Ferguson was actually the manager of the club. And I didn't think they wanted to change anything at that point. But as soon as Ferguson reached the point where he retired, they probably just turned around and thought, now we can change things our way. And since then on, I honestly do believe that it's just become like a money cow for the Glazers.
So would you put, and Taylor, feel free to jump in if you've got anything to add, but would you put it down, would you put United's downfall to strictly down to the owners, or is there got to be some responsibility in terms of the managers and stuff that have come in since Sir Alex Ferguson? Because they've obviously no one has, and probably no one was expected to hit the heights of Ferguson, and probably no one in Premier League history will. But the managers haven't really outdone themselves since they've sort of come into the club. Do you put it down more so to the managers, the players, or the ownership, or how the club is run as general? Or
well, I think the club is not run, as far as I'm concerned, the club is not run the way it should be run. I honestly believe that we've gone through a lot of managers, like Mourinho, we had Van Gaal, we had David Moyes, and they didn't get anywhere. They didn't get anywhere. Now, when Ollie came in, and they said that he was only supposed to be an interim manager, and after, because he had a good start, they maybe the players sort of reacted to the fact that he's the next legend of the club. Fortunately, whether he's a legend of the club or not, the team started well, but then he fell apart. I honestly believe, and this is my own personal view, I don't know what you guys, your views are regarding signings, but, we signed big name players, and these big name players don't seem to perform. I don't know what it is about it. I mean, you look at Liverpool, and you got Klopp, and you got Pep at Man City. That's what I call a football team. That's the way what I like to play. That's what we should be playing like. We got the players to do it, but I think at the moment, I don't know whether it's unrest in the changing room, or whether it's just the fact that it's egos or whatever it is. And these players, they seem to be reporting things to the media when they shouldn't be even on the media.
Would you say that Manchester United probably lack a philosophy at the moment, or any manager that they've brought in lacks a philosophy to bring to the players? Like Klopp has got his sort of all in, all for one kind of philosophy. The team works as a unit, where the managers that United have brought in have not really adopted any kind of system.
Well, the way I see it, Taylor, is that you have a philosophy to come in with, and you probably have a philosophy that you want to implement. But the problem is that if those players don't know what it is, they don't either don't want to play for the manager, or I don't know what it is. You got to be one of, as far as I'm concerned, you're wearing a Manchester United shirt. You give it your all, 100%. You play football to your best of your ability. These guys just don't seem to want to play. Whether it's unrest, I mean, it's not a philosophy. I think the manager is quite happy to implement it, but the players have got to be willing to take it on board. If you've got any type of unrest, whether the players are arguing between themselves, I don't know. I don't know what goes in the changing room. And from what you read in the media and everything, there's fighting going on between players. There's fighting between, we don't like this guy, we don't like that guy, and they got run into the media. What's that all about? I just can't understand it. I just can't understand. And I don't think, I'll be honest with you, I think that whether Klopp or Pep went to United at the moment, the way they are, they wouldn't be able to do anything. I honestly believe that. I think the club is ruined from the top right to the bottom. It needs a good clear out.
Where do you reckon that? Where do you reckon that started? Was that with Alex Ferguson leaving? Do you reckon it's slowly eradicated from then?
Yeah, I think when Alex Ferguson, I mean, you only have to look at when David Moyes came in. That's when it started, and that's when they started to before, because he only lasted, I don't know, about 7 months. If he lasted that, he was sacked. Then we got Van Gaal. He took him to I think it was an FA Cup. I think they won an FA Cup with Van Gaal. They finished in the top 4. I think Mourinho won it with, but he didn't. He couldn't implement. He was having a lot of arguments with players, and he didn't get on with the players, and so that went all bottom up or bottom down, whichever way you want to go. But we're actually rolling down a hill at the moment. I honestly believe that if you've got a hill and you're at the top, we're rolling down, and there's nothing to stop it at the moment. You know,
from an outsider looking in, it sounds like the big issue could be the players. Too many egos and too many big heads in that side, and I, for one, as not a Manchester United supporter, seeing the signings that you guys brought in the summer, i.e. Varane, Sancho, and particularly Ronaldo, I must admit I was scared for what was gonna happen, because like you've said, Ralphie, that you've got all the pedigree there and all the player base there to be a title contender, not just a top 4 contender, but to be a title contender. But it's a similar thing happened when Ronaldo joined Juventus. There was reports of clashing in the changing room as well, involving Ronaldo, and it seems to have carried over into Manchester United. I'm not saying Ronaldo is the problem, because there was problems in the changing room prior to him coming with the likes of Pogba and stuff like that. He's probably a big name that seems to have issues with certain things, but certainly adding in another player like that in terms of Ronaldo certainly wouldn't help. And Taylor, I don't know if you agree as an outsider looking in as well, but that's how I sort of see it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the way I see it too. I think there's too many egos, no one there to settle or to bring them in line. Like we said, we've touched on the managers haven't been able to pull them into line. And yeah, interested to hear your opinion, Ralph. But yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Steve.
Well, the other thing is something I actually read about today, that Ragnick has gone up to the board, and he actually said to them, "Look, the only way we're going to change this team is that we, instead of going for big names, which this is the problem, I think, they go and spend 100 million or whatever it is, or 150 million on a player. You bring him to, you need more than one player. With 150 million quid, Ragnick is still around and said, let's go for players that are hungry, young, hungry, that are prepared to fight. They're coming in with an ego. They're trying to buy shirt sellers. That's what they're bringing in. Ronaldo, shirt seller.
And that lends back to your running you Manchester United as a business.
That's right.
It comes back to that point where all they're doing is just trying to run a business. They're not caring about the results on the pitch, and they haven't been for almost 10 years now. That's
right. And they keep saying that today it came from Richard Arnold, which is the new CEO at United that's taken over from the other idiot that we had there. And he's come in, and now he's turned around and he says, we want to win trophies. Well, yeah, okay. Do I take that with a pinch of salt? Because for the last 9 years, they haven't done nothing. So, that's what I'm just saying, like trying to get Stevie Wonder to hit a bullseye on a dartboard from 50 miles away.
Yeah. No,
it's ludicrous. I think they're spending far too much money on big name players, and they don't turn out to be what you want them to be. You've got to gel as a team. You've got to gel, together. Football is a team game. I played it myself, like Stephen, like probably you do. But, I just don't see the way that there's too many individual players. They try to do something during a game, which is an individual player does, and trying to win the game that way. They're not doing it because they're playing well, because they're definitely not. Because I've been watching the last 7, 8 games, and yeah, they won a couple, but who are they playing?
Mm.
When they come to any of the top 5 or top 4, whatever you want to call it, we get smashed. There's just no cohesion between the players. I don't think they communicate with one another. I don't know what it is. That's why I'm glad that you guys got me on, so I can get it off my chest. For one thing. And get some sort of see how you guys feeling. I mean, you guys obviously happy because they're your rivals. But the rivalry between Liverpool and Manchester United, it's always been so healthy all through the years. Now it's just a joke. I mean, I look at the game coming up with Liverpool when it does come up. It was 5-0 at Old Trafford. What's it going to be at bloody Anfield?
That's a good point. It's a good point. You never know.
And you can't even pick up points against bloody Watford.
Yeah. No, I was going to get to that actually, because I think since the turn of the year, or maybe even in December, there's been draws against Burnley, Watford, and Newcastle.
Yeah.
And it seems like Rangnick can keep the goals out, but he just can't. They can't score under Rangnick. Yeah. They don't seem to. They're not leaking that many. They might give up one every game, but that's not that bad if you can start putting 2 or 3 past into the other net. But it just seems like a problem under Rangnick.
Well, you got a good problem. You only got to look at what happened last Saturday. Or what was it, Saturday or Sunday? I can't remember now when it was Saturday when they played Watford. They said, according to the way they played, it's probably one of the better games they played, where defence played well, kept a clean sheet, but they couldn't put goals in, and they had easy chances. Bruno missed about 2 or 3 easy chances. Ronaldo missed a couple of easy chances. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe we'll. If I had to put my neck out, I'll say they'll probably end up 7th this year.
Ooh, well, that's a big decline from where they are at the moment. Yeah.
That's my view.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because
you know the club better than us, so yeah.
Well, you got big. We got big teams coming up.
You do have a tough run.
We played a lot of easy ones, and we haven't picked up the points.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
What makes you think we're going to beat Man City? And I think it's.
I bloody hope you do.
Yeah.
Well, I bet you do too. Absolutely. I mean, I've always followed. Liverpool is, to me, they're brilliant side. You can't take that away from them, and the way they're playing football at the moment, I'm just jealous. To be honest with you, because
that was us. That was us about 10 years ago, I think. 15 years ago. Yeah.
Well, it took Liverpool 30 years to win a Premier League again. I can see us going about 40 or 50 at this rate. I can honestly, sometimes because of the Glazers and the owners of this club, I would rather see the team go down to lower divisions and get rid of them. Let's start from scratch.
Yeah,
because it's just it's killing me, mate. I'm going. Steve, I come to work and all I do is moan at him.
It's true. It's true.
But anyway, guys, so it's good that I get some feedback from you guys. And I know you guys you're very happy with the fact that Liverpool, are doing well, and good on you. You deserve it. But as a United fan, mate, I'm dejected. I really am. I can't. I just don't know where else I can talk about those mobs, that mob, because they're not performing on the pitch. They're just not performing on the pitch. And the Glazers are, as I said to you, they're always chasing big players for what? They're not turning it around. So what's the point? Go and buy 3 or 4 players that are hungry, young players that are willing to give you 100% on the pitch.
Just quickly, Ralphie, before we end off, because we're running out of time. How would you fix United's current state? Do you start from the top and get rid of the owners? Do you start at the manager and get in a new manager that will bring in a philosophy, as Taylor said, and has no problems with cleaning out the dead wood in the squad, or how would you see it changing?
Well, I think you have to go from the top down, because you've got owners that don't want to. All they want to do is make money. A good example, Stephen, was in January. What did we buy in January? We needed a centre midfield. We've needed a centre midfield for about 2 years, 3 years. They haven't got no one. You got McTominay and Fred, which I call them Bill and Ben, or Ben and Bill, or whatever the frigging names are, flower pot men or whatever. They're bloody hopeless. But anyway, so I will start from there, and then get players that want to wear the shirt, players that want to play for United. And if you don't want to play, if I was, well, I've got no chance of being a manager. I wish I was, but I was sack most of them. They're on $250,000 a freaking or pounds a week. What the hell? If you're not going to perform, mate, sort off. I was going to say something else.
Well
controlled. That one.
Well controlled.
But that's how I believe. It's got to start from the top. Oh, the Glazers have got to change their ways and treat the club like a football club and not like a business.
If you could pick one manager, who would you pick?
At the moment, apart from the one we got now?
Yep.
I use...
Yep. Ten Hag from Ajax?
Yep.
Good manager.
Yeah. That's a good pick there.
I would go for him. Pochettino, he hasn't won anything. He did all right at Spurs, but, he ended up getting sacked. And if he doesn't win something this year, it's going to be out in his ear anyway, because he's playing, PSG. If he can't do anything at PSG with the players he's got, you might as well give it away.
I think Ten Hag would be a good appointment, because, you see what he's done at Ajax. He's built, what you need is a complete rebuild, top to bottom. And to me, he'd be the perfect bloke. He's to just do what he's done at Ajax, take it to United, and just set up another dynasty, really. He can build a team. It just gets picked off every year.
Absolutely.
With Ajax. So, teams won't be picking off United. So, good pick. I like that.
As I say, you bring someone like that in, someone who's going to stand up to these players. You need someone tough that's going to get in there and say, like Ferguson would have done. Turn around, and if you don't going to play, sort of, I don't need you. This is what you need. You need someone who's going to stand up to them. And if you got managers, but then again, the other thing I just quickly going to say is the fact that a manager can go in there, but if they don't get the backing from above, they're not going to get any either.
Yeah, that's what it'll come down to in the end.
You've got to be backed by the board. If the board doesn't back you, you've got no hope. But That's my point, boys.
Interesting points, mate. I agree. I think Taylor would agree as well. Without putting words into your mouth, Taylor. But I think I hear it just about every week. So I wanted to bring you onto the pod so you can
Yeah.
let the listeners know as well. Because what you've got to say about the club is interesting, coming straight from a fan.
Look, mate, I love
yourself,
the
so.
club. Don't get me wrong. I love this club, and as much as I sometimes say I can't take it anymore.
Mhm.
I will never. It's not me. It's not me. But I just hope that things change in the near future for the better. Because if not, this club is going to be in a lot of strife, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
That's my...
Oh, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens, mate. But look, thanks for jumping on with us. It's been a pleasure. And
Anytime, boy.
yeah, look, we might have to take you up on that. We might at some point, down the future, we might have to get you on if things start turning around for them. But
Yeah, for sure.
But in the meantime, it's been a pleasure. So
Thanks,
it's all we've got time for today in terms of the podcast in general. So thanks everyone for listening. Make sure you're following all of our social medias, which will be all down in the descriptions or wherever you're watching or listening to this pod. But yep, that's all we've got time for today. We'll be back next week, myself and Taylor. So Ralphie, thanks for coming on, mate. Taylor,
no problem.
good to speak to you as always, mate.
Great meeting you, Taylor.
Yep. Thanks, Ralphie. Really enjoyed the chat.
You take care, guys.
Thanks, lads. We'll see you next time.